This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome, everyone, to the GSMC Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeff Melanoff, and with me, as always, is Mark Souza. Got a lot to talk about in the world of sports today because we're fresh off the All-Star weekend in the NBA. Also got some NFL news regarding Kaepernick and his lawsuit against the NFL. And also, we're going to be talking about the AAF because there was an exciting game on, actually two, I would say, that happened this week. And it's still an exciting league to me. I think it's still keeping up for what it's worth. But anyways, we'll start with the All-Star break and the All-Star weekend because we had some interesting endings to some of the skills challenge and the dunk contest. Mm-hmm. And we'll do the Rising Stars challenge afterwards, but we'll do the dunk contest first. We really kind of not gave it all its due because we thought it was going to be boring due to the lack of star names in there.
The dunk contest?
Yeah. There was a couple flashy dunks.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not a big fan of the dunk contest.
Well, there was that one dunk at the end. Diallo dunked over Shaq and did the classic Vince Carter elbow in the rim at the same time. Yeah, I thought that was one of the coolest dunks. Probably in the last 5 or 6 years, to be honest with you. I thought it was very flashy. It was
impressive. That guy's obviously impressive athlete. I mean, his vertical is pretty good. It looked like he could probably hit the rim with his head a couple times if he tried.
He could probably dunk over Yao Ming if he wanted to. He got pretty over Shaq pretty easily.
They should have just sat the ball on the rim and have him hit it in the hoop, and that would have been the most impressive thing.
He probably could have. He's extremely athletic. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of things what are being really maybe pushed to the limit is the fact that people are wearing costumes too much. Well, I think that's getting old.
See, I think the dunk contest is just kind of boring. That people are just trying to dress it up as much as they can, but they're doing the same dunks over and over again.
But it's I saw the guy where there's a plane. He had jumped over a plane and just did a single tomahawk, and he hit some of the plane too, so he didn't jump over it clearly enough. And it's stuff like that where it's just now you're not trying to be flashy with your dunk, you're being flashy with your looks, and I think that's one of the reasons the dunk contest is not looked at as highly as it used to be.
Yeah, I also just think the dunk contest, even if the big names were in it, it wouldn't be that interesting anymore because there's only so many dunks you can do. I mean, really, have we seen anything new in the last? Everything we've seen has been done before, even jumping over Shaq and doing the Vince Carter. He was doing something that's been done before. He was doing the Vince Carter legendary Olympic dunk. And, yeah, that's cool. That's a cool,
Well, he jumped over Shaq while doing it, which I don't think someone's done that before.
But when Vince Carter jumped over the 7-foot French center, that's what he was doing. He was doing the Vince Carter dunk. He did that, and then he did the Vince Carter elbow in.
True. He did that during the game.
He was paying homage to Vince Carter, and that's cool and all. That's a cool throwback when he did it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's totally this is for Vince Carter type dunk, which is great. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just a guy who I haven't thought the dunk contest has been fun in my lifetime, honestly. I mean,
the 2000 dunk contest was not fun?
I mean, I just think it's, in general, just pretty boring thing to watch. I mean, it's just they do the same dunks over and over.
I'll disagree with you on. There's some years that it's very exciting, but I understand that most years are complete lulls. I will give you that because
I mean, even if you're talking about 2000, I mean, you literally just brought up something 19 years ago. But let's talk about something that happened in the last, I don't know, decade, where it's I mean, look, nobody even does it anymore, right?
The best thing I can think of is like the Dwight Howard versus Nate Robinson saga.
Who was the biggest star that even participated in the last couple of years?
Well, like I said, Dwight Howard was probably the last one. Maybe Blake Griffin, but that was like 2010.
Right. It's just like, yeah, maybe like one of the young guys.
Well, apparently Giannis did say he would be in the All-Star dunk contest next year. So maybe if that happens, I'll be interested. See what he can do. Mm-hmm. To see a 7-footer.
The G League guy in it, like that was.
They really scraped the bottom of the barrel last year. That was one of the most. Even like the players were saying that was the most boring dunk contest I've ever seen.
But even the ones they got this year, I mean, who was the biggest name in this year's dunk contest? Dennis Smith Jr., who got traded.
Yeah, he was a trade piece in a huge blockbuster trade that's not about him. It was about Porzingis. Yeah. So, like, he was the only name I kind of recognized, and he didn't even win.
I mean, look, my impression was I watched it, and I was like, yeah, boring. But I did come away thinking Diallo was, like, he's apparently the best athlete of the people that participated.
Oh, I completely agree. He's a true athlete for sure.
It does get annoying though when they miss dunk after dunk after dunk after dunk.
They should be penalized. But
yeah, I thought once you miss twice, you're done.
I thought so. Maybe they changed the rule because so many people were missing.
Yeah, maybe they just were like, well,
screw it.
No one's really gonna care about this, so let's just keep.
But you know what was actually super interesting was the 3-point contest.
3-point contest, yes, that was interesting.
Because we had a guy hit 26, and then we got a guy hit 27. Like, it was, I think, the first guy, I forget who it was, hit 25. Then Buddy Hield beat him and went 26. And then Stephen Curry came up next and hit 27. This is like everyone was one-upping each other.
That was cool. I actually think the only thing that I would consider tweaking about the 3-point contest is, like, I like that there was
Josh Harris that hit 25.
Joe Harris, yeah.
Joe Harris, yeah.
I like that there's 10 people, but I would like to see 3 rounds, though. Instead of just a first round and a last round. Yeah, I would like to see
it does go from 10 to 3, which is extremely
I'd like to see it go from 10 to 4 to 2. And then, you pick your winner from the 2. So.
I like the money balls being the color of the Hornets, though. Like, it's just the little things like that also intrigue me.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that, like, maybe in the second round,
all money balls.
No, not all money balls, because then it wouldn't matter. But maybe they shouldn't get to pick where the money ball rack is. Like, maybe it should be randomized, or it should just be like.
Do they get to pick where it is?
Yeah, they pick where they put their money ball rack.
Because I only see it usually at the corner. Oh, you mean the finals?
No, every time they shoot, they pick.
Oh,
where
really?
They want. They could put the rack right down the middle if they wanted to. They could put the rack.
I guess people like the corners then because I saw it.
Because the corner's the shortest, and they put it on the last one because they've already shot a bunch of times, so they want the last rack. But they could technically put it as the first rack. They could technically put it on the wing, but I mean, obviously they're doing it advantageously. Mm-hmm. They want to use the shortest one at the end, which makes sense. They also get to pick which way they go.
I don't like the fact that there's a whole rack of money balls, though. Why not just do regular balls and then money at the end for every single one?
Yeah, like back in the day, they never got to pick which way they got to go. Like, you didn't get to pick right to left or left to right.
Oh, that's not true. The guys left-handed could go the opposite way. I saw that happen.
Interesting.
I think it was just based off your dominant hand, so it was fair. Because if you go left-hand the opposite side, like where everyone else is going, you kind of at a disadvantage just based off just your dominant hand.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. I don't know. Yeah.
But it was like, but of all the people that was like in the finals between Hields, Curry, and Harris, I did not expect Harris to win.
Yeah,
not gonna lie to you.
He had the stroke down, but yeah, I think it would have been cool if it went from 10 to 4, and then from the 4 you just have the 2 highest scores play in the final, and then you go. That's the only thing that I would say, but that's pretty minor. I thought it was a good contest. It was actually interesting. There was some drama. Seeing like Seth on the bubble was interesting, and ultimately,
I felt so bad for
Devin
Seth.
Booker got knocked out, and he was the returning champ, so he got knocked out, and somebody knew was going to win. But yeah, I think a lot of people didn't put too much money on Harris, but he's one of the most consistent shooters in the league. So
yeah, but when you're looking at like the most.
He's not
famous.
a name.
Yeah, exactly, he's not a name. Like I would say,
like the least name.
Yeah, I think obviously the biggest name was Steph Curry.
I do like watching Dirk shoot though.
Dirk has a weird form,
because
and I love it.
He shoots so high, and he's already 7 feet tall. It's like the ball never
He's
is going
got
to
it.
come down.
Well, why do you think he's been so great the last 2 decades? He has a shot that no one can really block, and of course his unblockable turnaround he had during 2011.
His angle is so good because the ball's almost coming straight down.
So.
So.
It's if any 7-footer needs to learn how to shoot, look at Dirk. No doubt about it.
The ball always comes almost straight down when it hits the rim or hits the net.
If he misses, it's not by much. It's not like he's way off. He's incredibly close every time. He's
Dirk
a great
also
accurate shooter.
Started lighting up the All-Star game at the beginning. He hit a few threes.
Back to back.
He hit that Curry three, which was like 5 or 6 feet behind the line.
Granted, the All-Star game defense is lacking, but still, it was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like anyone was on him or anything, but it's still cool to see that because obviously Dirk is a future Hall of Famer. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I always remember him not for his threes, but remember in 2011 he had this where he would post up and then go with the fadeaway turnaround.
Yeah,
no one could stop that
with the leg up.
Yeah, no one was stopping
it. The famous shot you do at the park. You call it the Dirk.
Yeah, but how often he made that? I don't remember him missing that.
And players used to get pissed off because they were saying he used that foot to defend people. And he used to get called for it a couple times, but it took a long time for them to call anything because he stuck his leg out. But.
Well, and also during the finals against the Heat that year in 2011, he would not miss a shot that was a fadeaway, that post up fadeaway. It was gorgeous, and probably he was the key reason they won that finals against LeBron, Wade, and Bosh and the Heat at that time. But he also had a pretty fun All-Star game. Him and Wade did. Wade had that infamous alley-oop to LeBron, almost infamous picture they did when they were on the Heat. They almost recreated it. Mm-hmm. But the cameraman missed it or something like that. I don't really know what happened there, but regardless. But before we get into the All-Star game specifically, let's go into the skills challenge because that ended in a way that's I wouldn't count it as skill.
Speaking
it ended
of something that needs to be changed completely, the skills challenge.
What are you gonna go on about?
I mean, it's not really a skills challenge, right? It's whoever hits the 3 first wins the challenge.
Yeah, but it takes skill to score 3.
I don't think it takes a lot of skill to win that challenge. And you would think that if it's called the skills challenge, it would take an extreme amount of skill to win that. But you don't even get penalized for not being able to put a pass through the ring?
Well, I mean, there is a penalty in where if the other guy makes it, you're kind of stuck, right? You have to put it through.
No, you get 2 chances. If you don't make it your second time, you just
go. I don't like that either.
I mean, Trae Young didn't make it on his first one. He didn't make it in the hole. He missed twice, and then they continue. So you get to keep going if you don't. Plus, look at how many 3-point attempts were shot from half court from the guy in second, and it's what's the skill in that? If you make a lucky shot, you make a lucky shot. That's cool, but what I was getting to the point is Jason Tatum won the thing off a half court shot, and I consider that the least skilled shot to make. That's what I'm saying. and Trae Young almost won, and he shouldn't even have been in the final. Yeah. That's a thing.
Well, the thing was De'Aaron Fox was the favorite, but his one weakness is his perimeter shooting.
Mm-hmm. And he's just a good 3-point shooter. He's not a great 3-point shooter, and
he can make 3-pointer shooters, but he doesn't need to. He's a great driver. He's a great inside scorer. And he doesn't need to shoot threes. He has Buddy Hield and he has some other great 3-point shooters on his team, so it's not really necessary for him to shoot threes.
Yeah, I just think it's weird that they don't penalize people for missing. And it's a layup. Who's gonna miss a layup? You know what I mean? They can revamp that whole project. Make the skills challenge something that's an actual skill. Wouldn't you like to see a little bit more passing involved? Maybe, yes, you do the pass through, the shorter pass, but maybe you have to make a longer pass. Maybe you have to make a pass 2/3 of the court or something like that and put it in a bucket or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to make a 3-point shot, but you also have to make a free throw, and then you have to make something else. The layup is just who's gonna miss that? No one's gonna miss the layup, right?
Yeah. If you do, you don't deserve to win.
But yeah, it's just then there should be penalties. If you miss the 3-point shot, they add a couple seconds. Or if you miss,
or back up a step and just have to keep going.
Or if you can't do the pass, have time added, or you would have to sit there until you make it. Like, you
yeah,
gotta do something.
definitely until you make it. I agree with that. But there's also like, I also was kind of excited how it ended. Like after I saw Tatum make the half court, I was like, wow. But I was like, wait a minute, that's not skill. Why are you allowed to do that? I mean, I get it, but I mean, Jason Tatum's like great guard, like a great forward, and he can do that kind of thing. He deserves to be in the skills challenge regardless. So it's not like it wasn't someone undeserving to win it.
Yeah.
But
that's all I'm saying. Like, it was still like interesting, but it's like,
I don't think it's ever ended like that before.
like, they should just change the name to who hits the three first, because that's really the only.
So
thing
another 3-point contest.
Because you don't even need to be good at the other. You don't even need to be fast throughout the whole thing. All
Yeah,
you gotta
why?
do is hit the three. If you hit the three on your first shot, you're probably gonna win. Yeah, the other guy will have to miss if he gets there first, but if he misses his first shot, you're gonna win. If
you get a huge advantage.
So it's like, whatever. I like NBA All-Star Weekend, don't get me wrong, but it is a lot of like fluff. Like, there's not really a whole lot. Like, the contest is all right. The skills challenges, I'd say, just as lame. It's getting at least just as lame as the 3-point contest is the one still true event that really gets me excited, where you get to see the guys show their skills, because it's not just about shooting a three. You see the competitiveness in it. You see them get in the zone. You see them become a robot, and that's like the interesting part.
A
right?
robot. Told me, oh my god, so.
Well, it is true. Like, you see a guy, like, he makes a couple in a row, and then it's like robotic. It's like, and then he gets in the zone, and he's not thinking, and he's just grabbing the ball, shooting, grabbing the ball, shooting, grabbing the ball, shooting. And one thing I thought was cool is that I did not think Lillard was going to finish in time. I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, he's taking way too long, and he just got that last shot off, like, right at the buzzer.
Yeah, that was impressive.
That was kind of fun. But, yeah, I thought the All-Star game was actually better than these other competitions, and I usually look forward to the other competitions a little bit more.
The Rising Stars Challenge was also pretty entertaining, all things considered. At the end, they were all trying to do cool dunks at the end because the game was kind of over. And I believe Jason Tatum won the MVP, if I'm not mistaken.
It was Kuzma.
Kuzma, that's right, Kuzma. He had like 30-some-odd points again, which really shows how talented he is on the Lakers. And while he's, I think, a valuable trade piece, if you're going to trade him for Anthony Davis, he's definitely a guy you would have to have, in my opinion, on that list to trade.
Yeah, it's true.
He's very utilized, yes. And
if I'm the Pelicans,
if they offer me up like Lonzo, Hart, and like some other guys, and then don't add Kuzma, I'm like, you're adding Kuzma.
Yeah, for Kuzma, yeah, for the Pelicans and the Lakers, yes. For the Pelicans and the Celtics, if that trade goes down, yeah, you got to get
like Tatum. Probably Marcus Smart too.
I for sure would say that the Celtics, if we're talking about that, would have the better trade package. Mm-hmm. Because Tatum, guys like Jaylen Brown, yeah, you could throw in Marcus Smart. Terry Rozier is another option. Like, there's
a lot of
talent. They do have a number of good players.
Yeah, and also Anthony Davis had said that the accusation of him not wanting to play for the Celtics is completely false. So obviously they're going to be a contender in the summer for trading for Anthony Davis. But I think, in all, it's going to be either the Lakers or the Celtics that get Davis. I can see other teams offering a ton, but I think bottom line is those are the two that have the most to offer.
We'll also need to see who gets the number one pick, because the number one pick this year is going to be probably the most talked about number one pick since LeBron James. So we have to talk about it like that, because depending on the team that gets it, that maybe that team wants Anthony Davis over Zion Williamson. I have no idea. I really don't. But you never know. You just never know. So
do you think if a team goes with the number one pick against Zion, are you willing to trade him to get an Anthony Davis?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know.
That's what I would like. But who? What team is mainly what I'm asking? What team would put the best offer, adding Zion and then a couple other players and draft picks for Anthony Davis? Or are we crossing a line now?
I have no idea, but I think that the number one pick is going to be way more valuable than a lot of the trade pieces that another team is going to trade. Like, if the Lakers offered their young, talented players plus draft picks.
Well, the draft picks are going to be very high and not lottery picks. So in theory, because of the fact they'll have Davis and LeBron.
Right. So I don't know if that's more attractive than a package of Zion Williamson and a couple other players. I don't know. I'd have to see it.
Yeah, I honestly think the teams with like the highest draft picks and like the teams that are rebuilding are in like the best situation to trade for Davis because they have more to offer in the draft situation.
What if a team could get like the Knicks? Like if the Knicks traded Zion for Anthony Davis and then they went out and they signed 2 stars, they could do that.
Because they're still having Davis for that 1 extra year contract before they can re-sign him
this summer and not even wait around for Zion to develop. They could just get Davis, Durant.
Because Davis still has 1 more year on his contract, correct?
Right. So they could get Davis, Durant, and Kyrie Irving in one offseason.
Oh, you're offending Durant. I'm sorry. How dare you?
Why is that?
Because he just wants to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Have a heart,
for the
man.
Knicks.
I just think it's funny. He's like, he just says I still can't get over the fact he says, I just want to play basketball. No, you don't. Mm-hmm. There's so much more to it than just basketball. I'm sorry. $100 million you're getting paid too, so just stop talking. Anyways, All-Star Game. We'll talk about that right now. Before we go to break. So
Kevin Durant won MVP.
Speaking of the devil, yeah. I thought it was a very fun game to watch. That alley-oop to Giannis by Curry was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Giannis jumping, 20 feet in the air, it looked like, roughly?
Yeah.
His wingspan really showed at that level when he dunked that ball.
Yep. All-Star game, good. Only thing I'd change is, like we talked about before, is having the teams being picked on the day the day before the All-Star
You mean
game,
like schoolyard style, you know, like all of them line up at half court or the baseline or something?
Have them all line up at half court, have Giannis and LeBron in the middle of the circle, and then start picking, or have everybody line up at like.
I also think it's in thinking in like branding wise and selling merchandise wise, they'll need to have like what team is which to sell those jerseys before the All-Star game. That's a theory, at least to me.
Gotcha.
But I really enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't the highest scoring one, but it was still pretty high scoring. They didn't make it. I was surprised they didn't make it to 100 points by halftime. They were close, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. Usually there's like 110 to 115 by the time it's the first half because of how absurd it gets. But there was a lot of fun stuff to it. Like you said, Dirk and Wade, the pass to LeBron and the alley-oop to Giannis. Like, it was a lot of fun, all things considered. And I mean, Giannis had I believe he had over 30 points, which puts him in line. Like, why? Like, really
38, 11, and 5.
Yeah. Like, if any of the losing team deserves to get MVP, it's probably him. Mm-hmm. Well, Durant had 31, if I'm not mistaken.
31, 7, and 2.
So, honestly, Giannis had the better game. So, why does it have to go to the winning team?
Doesn't have to.
So, why not give it to Giannis? I feel like he did better.
I don't know.
Answer me. Wait, was it based off fan voting? Because I remember there was fan voting on the NBA app, but I'm not sure if it's actually qualified for the actual MVP voting, or is it actually based off somebody else?
No idea, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, Giannis had a great game. I found it interesting that Anthony Davis played, and he only played 5 minutes.
It's really I know it's only been 5 minutes, but he's getting more and more hated as the days go on in New Orleans. It feels like he's gonna be public enemy number 1 by the time he leaves and gets traded.
Giannis got off to a big start. I thought they were gonna win for a minute, and then Team LeBron just killed it in the second half.
They were down 13.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you were thinking about picking them schoolyard. How about have them coming up with their own team names, not just Team LeBron and Team Giannis? Have some fun names for it.
LeBron's team would be the all-tampering team, that's for sure.
Yeah, something fun at least, you know? Let's just have some fun with it, not just call them Team LeBron and Team Giannis.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it was up to LeBron, they'd be called the Los Angeles Lakers, I think, and it would just be this roster that he has.
Man, your food looks really salty right now.
What do you mean?
I don't know. He just seems...
He likes to add stars to his team, right? He likes to get rid of the young guys and add stars.
This is a little harsh coming from, just let the man be.
Man, that's harsh. Damn.
Well, like the all-tampering team and the, Los Angeles Lakers team.
The all-tampering team is what they've been called. That's
a running joke. Yeah, I get that, but still, it's never mind.
Well, didn't he try to get Anthony Davis?
I mean, it was mainly like the Lakers were just going to go for, I think they were going to go for him regardless if LeBron was there or not.
Maybe so, but nothing happens on a LeBron team without LeBron's approval. That's for
No,
sure.
of course not. But
when the Lakers signed LeBron James, their whole franchise changed. Like,
yeah.
They didn't go from let's build this talent young. It went to let's build a winning team around LeBron for the next 3 years. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we will see where Anthony Davis winds up next year. Maybe it's with the Lakers. Maybe it's with the Celtics. Maybe it's with the Knicks. Who knows?
Yes, but of course, like you said, LeBron has all the say in the world. But I still stand by, regardless of what team LeBron was on, the Lakers or everyone would be going for Davis. He's that much of a commodity, you know? So that's just how I see it. Then I understand that, there's some other things to it. But... and like I said, the All-Star Game was a lot of fun to watch. It's always been fun. It's never really not fun, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the last time it was not fun.
Well, yeah. Usually the All-Star Game is very good.
Mm-hmm. Did you like the All-Star Game jerseys with just the big logo of the team name on them?
Yeah.
You like that look? I do like that look as well. I was just saying, if of all, do you like it just says All-Star Team, or do you like the fact that it represents their team a lot more?
I don't know. I don't really have an opinion, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. I just because it's kind of the same as last year's. In all honesty, I think it was the same as last year's, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I've talked about over and over again, it's simplicity that really makes a jersey look better. So that's just how that works for me. So. Anyways, should we take a break? Anything else you want to say?
We should take a break.
All right.
Come back and talk about Colin Kaepernick and his battle with the NFL.
Yes, and we'll be right on that when we return.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines. They got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, everyone, to the GSMC Sports Podcast. Just finished up our All-Star Weekend talk in the NBA. Now, we actually have some NFL news. As Colin Kaepernick and the NFL have reached, an agreement? Is that how they put it?
Yeah,
or was it a settlement?
Out of court, non-disclosure agreement, so yes.
It's supposedly around $30 million, if I'm not mistaken, as well. That was what I saw the last time I checked it.
Reports of anywhere between 60 and 80 million. We've now...
Really? I thought it was only in the 30s. Was it up to 60 now?
Yeah, we've seen 60 to 80. There's also reports that it's less than 50, but that's what happens when
it's
there's
in
a
the millions,
non-disclosure
and Kaepernick is going to be filthy rich. So we all know that's going to be a factor. And his lawyer did say, Kaepernick did also say he wanted to play in the NFL again, obviously. But his lawyer said he's going to play for the Panthers in the future. That was his prediction. That is probably the last place I would see him.
Who, the Patriots?
The Panthers.
The Panthers?
Because that's what his lawyer said. I understand they're looking for a quarterback for next season because of the fact Cam Newton's probably going to be out, which is the smartest move.
Because they have Eric Reed on their team. So they're obviously
I see
a little
what you're
less,
saying.
I guess, worried about that.
Yeah, but also Kareem Hunt went to the Browns, so that in that theory, that also looks at that. So I understand that, but that would only be like a year contract, in my opinion, because of the fact they'll have Cam Newton ready.
Well, we got to talk about
season
first
afterwards.
about that. We don't even know if he's going to play in the NFL. We got to talk about who won between Kaepernick and the NFL. I mean,
it sounds like Kaepernick won this one.
yeah. I mean, I think to some degree the NFL won too. I mean,
Just to get out of this haze.
So here's the thing, though. I've heard people kind of say, or I've seen people say, "Oh, well, the NFL, they paid him off to get rid of him, or whatever." The NFL doesn't do this. The NFL fights their fights. That is one thing about the NFL.
They are resilient.
They are a organization where everybody that's an owner in this league is a billionaire, a multi-billionaire. There's a lot of clout, a lot of power, a lot of money. And they don't usually just give people hush money. So for them to kind of cut their losses here and save some face, get out of this investigation, they are admitting defeat, yes. But also they don't have their dirty laundry being aired out, which makes sense because, if they do go to the findings of this case, maybe some other stuff gets realized. Maybe it has nothing to do with collusion, but maybe it shows some information that the NFL really doesn't want the general public finding out about. So I think that the NFL did win, but Kaepernick clearly won. Mm-hmm. He fought the NFL and he won. He got them to pay him, probably handsomely.
Yeah.
We won't know because there's a non-disclosure agreement. We will see rumors. But what I find most interesting about this is the timing of Colin Kaepernick, quote unquote, demanding $20 million from the the Alliance of American Football.
Apparently that was NFL fabricated, is what you were...
That is Benjamin Albright and a couple other NFL writers. They definitely believe that the NFL fabricated this story and leaked it to the public. And if you look at the timing. When did this come out? Right before they settled out of court.
Mm-hmm.
They knew they were going to settle out of court. And it makes a lot of sense. This theory makes a lot of sense. In fact, Benjamin Albright quoted, an AAF source I spoke with never discussed money with Kaepernick or Tebow.
Or Tebow?
Yeah,
okay,
or Tebow.
So that...
Money was never discussed when they were reached out about.
So that actually changes a lot of the situation.
It changes a lot, right? Because the first public outcry was, wow, why would this guy demand all this money? Wow, can't believe he's doing this. Wow. They try to slander his name. Makes sense. The NFL's trying to save some face and look like the bigger person here. But, yeah, I think their trick has been figured out. But a lot of people won't realize that. And a lot of people will just write this off as Kaepernick demanded $20 million from the AAF and never look back at the story again or even care to hear about a change in the story. So that's the way that it works sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And just sometimes people play the slick game, if you will. Like the under the table kind of stuff. Cheap shots, if you will.
But now we got to talk about if he will play again. That's first and foremost. So we don't even need to talk about which teams. Will he play in the NFL again?
I think it'll happen eventually.
Well, he's 31.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, he's probably more qualified than most other starting quarterbacks in the NFL at the moment.
We also know that he has a non-disclosure agreement, which we don't even know if that means that the NFL paid for him to leave permanently. You can do that. Mm-hmm. You can pay somebody off and say you can't work for our league anymore.
This is true.
So we don't know if that
we really have no idea what his future holds.
Obviously, we don't think that is because his lawyer said that he'll play in the NFL. So that would, make sense that he's able to continue to possibly get a job in the NFL. But I don't know if he will play. All these owners, if you think about it, all these guys just paid millions of dollars to have him to get rid of this situation. Yeah. So I don't know if they're really paying millions of dollars to have him come back,
Yeah, this is a...
it only takes one, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that could happen sooner than we think.
What's funny is that this is not necessarily over. You know that Kaepernick could sue the NFL again for retaliation if no team signs him? He can cite that because the NFL lost the collusion case or they settled, that the owners are retaliating and barring him from the league, which he could.
So he can make another suit for the same exact thing.
Yeah, he could. Basically.
Yeah. Which I guess would make sense on his part because like that he would definitely win the case again or settle it again and get more money. I mean, smart business decision, honestly. But I don't think the NFL is willing to go through all this again. So I think it's gonna end with the fact that like he's going to be on a team, or he even plays in the AAF. Who knows where his future lies? But I think he's gonna play at least some football somewhere.
Yeah, but it all depends on the NFL, right? Like nobody cares if he plays in the AAF. Everyone's gonna be watching and seeing if he's going to play in the NFL.
I think he would get a lot of people watching the AAF, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but nobody's really going to care about that is what I'm saying. Like, yes, people will watch it, but, like, that's not really the big story. The big story is, will he play in the NFL? Like, will he play in the NFL again? And I don't know. I honestly don't see it. I really don't. I mean, if he's... I hope he gets a chance. Like, I hope he gets a chance to prove himself, you know? But
yeah. I honestly think that... there's going to be a team that's desperate for a quarterback, and like there was like I'm not saying it's happening this year, but there's going to be like another time where a quarterback gets drafted and it's another bust for another team. They're like, okay, I'm so sick and tired of this, and then go and sign Kaepernick just because they want something. They need a result.
My only argument against that is why hasn't it already happened? Because we've already seen this.
Well, it's because of this lawsuit thing, and honestly, I think the NFL. I honestly believe some part of it is true where the NFL said don't sign Kaepernick as this is going on. So I think there were some legal issues involved with the reason he wasn't signed. I think that is a little bit of it, maybe not all of it, but fact of the matter is they maybe didn't want the headache that would involve some controversy, because it would have involved controversy, no question about it, as this is always happening. But since this is all settled and it looks like it's behind us for now, it might be the time.
Yeah, maybe. I think if he's on a team, or at least trying out for a team or working out for them or playing preseason games for them this fall, then there's a chance. But if he goes another season without playing football, I don't think he comes back.
Yeah. It's still...
NFL teams would rather have Brandon Weeden on their team.
Well, let's not go that far.
Well, it's just a fact. It's not me making an opinion.
If someone needs a quarterback...
Brandon Weeden was on an NFL roster the last couple of years.
So was Nathan Peterman, but granted...
Nathan Peterman, too.
But I think...
That was a collusion case. Your Honor, Brandon Weeden, Nathan Peterman,
really?
Josh Johnson.
No, that's all he needed to say was, really? Like,
yep.
These guys think they could be a better team with those guys than me. Like, I understand why there's a collusion case in this, excuse me.
Yep.
Because of how ridiculous this all sounds. I mean, for real.
Yep. So we will see what happens now with the future of Colin Kaepernick playing professional football. Will it be the NFL? Will it be the AAF? Will it not be any league? We don't know.
Maybe, just maybe, it's the Canadian Football League. Or it's the Arena Football League.
But I will say that I think the NFL is pretty happy with paying him $60 to $80 million and making him walk away.
That is pennies to them. So.
Yeah, because considering the fact that the last couple of years without Kaepernick, they've not been able to bury it completely, but that story's been buried. It's been out of the public eye more than it was when he was obviously playing. So
yeah,
I think in the end they probably feel like they came out on top.
Yeah, like you said, 60, 80 million, that's absolutely pennies compared to what they are actually worth. So it's a sacrifice they're willing to make. And I think Kaepernick still wins in the long run because he gets the money and he gets an opportunity to play in the NFL still.
Maybe. We'll see if he gets the opportunity.
Well, yeah. But again, we will see. Nothing is for sure yet. We still really don't have all the information anyways when it comes to this lawsuit. So who knows what's actually going on behind the scenes that we really don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's confidential, correct? Like that's what they were saying?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is all speculation. So we really have no clue. But anything else you want to comment about Colin Kaepernick?
Nope, we should take a break.
Okay, we'll take a break. We'll talk about a little about the AAF since that happened as well. And Antonio Brown is also in the news again about his quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, or former quote-unquote quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, potentially. So we'll see on that when we return.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast, finishing up the day, finished talking about Kaepernick, talked to All-Star Weekend. Now let's go on to the Alliance of American Football. Another week is gone for week 2. It's still entertaining to me. I'm still enjoying watching it, to be honest with you. There's still a lot of talented teams. The Orlando Apollos with Coach Spurrier has been the most impressive to me based off Steve Spurrier being like a successful coach at the moment. Like, that's unusual to me.
Yeah, he's always been regarded as like an offensive mind.
Yeah, but he hasn't had the best track record when it comes to coaching, when it comes to a professional or even developmental league. We really don't know. But developmental is developmental more towards collegiate football, or is it more towards professional football, you think? Which one is it closer to? Like in style of play?
Pro football.
So, and that's been always his concern, is because, remember, his professional resume and the professional football resume is not the best. His collegiate, on the other hand, is pretty good, but not the other way around. So that's why it's kind of impressive, all things considered, when you're looking at the fact that he's being pretty good. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but still, positive is a positive. And as for other teams in the NFL, there's still another 0-2 team regarding the Memphis Express and the Atlanta Legends. Both teams lost again. Not very legendary for Atlanta. And as for the Express, I mean, it's your coach is Mike Singletary, so I don't know what you were thinking if you were going to win or not. That was kind of your own fault, in my opinion. based off the fact that it's Mike Singletary. I'm sorry, he's not a head coach in my mind. He's not qualified to be a head coach. Mm-hmm. Defensive coordinator, sure, you could put him there. I mean, that's probably the highest I would even consider him putting him in that circumstance. But regardless, the other teams are looking really good. San Diego won, like I said, and just the Arizona Hotshots also played a great game.
I saw that behind the back pass.
That was incredible. Did you see that run by their running back as well? He just.
Oh yeah, the Hotshots running.
Yeah,
back.
he looked great as well. There's still there's a lot of great things happening in the AAF, and I think a lot of these guys are going to get opportunities in the NFL next season. I really do.
Yeah, there should be a few for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely a good place to showcase. While a lot of NFL teams and players are resting or going through off-season stuff away from teams, these teams are watching these games. I mean, maybe not every second of every game, but these general managers will catch wind if somebody's
absolutely
out there.
Yeah, there's going to be these highlights that they're going to catch. They're not going to miss certain big plays, and then they'll interest them into watching a full game. And there's just a bunch of opportunities in the long run for these guys. So, it's great for them.
I think it's good too. I haven't seen the ratings yet, but I'm sure.
I haven't checked if they've been released yet or not either, but I'm assuming it's still in the millions. I
will say that one event that happened, there's a few other events that happened this weekend. One was the UFC on ESPN. Francis Ngannou was impressive in his destruction of UFC legend Cain Velasquez. So 26 seconds. 26 seconds the fight was stopped after Ngannou looked like he hit him with an uppercut and a flurry of punches. Cain Velasquez knee buckles. He goes down. Referee stops the fight after Ngannou pounces on him. So very impressive win for Ngannou. And Ngannou, man, he's a name. Like, I don't know if you don't have to watch UFC, but this guy, man, he is a physically impressive, dominant figure, and he knocks people out. So he's the kind of fighter that the casual fan can get behind.
Well, I think the question for me and like the casual fan is this the end for Cain Velasquez?
Yeah, probably.
Because he used to be the guy in the heavyweight division, for sure.
He was for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really sad, like, because this happens it happens with every player, it feels like, or every fighter when it comes to if you're the head of a division, you will have
comes to an end for him, and Velasquez only lost 3 times, but yeah, it just
this last one's going to be a kind of maybe not an asterisk, but a dent on his resume.
Well, he did lose to one of the best fighters in the world.
But 26 seconds is still a very short amount of time.
I
get it.
It's a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
Like those last 26 seconds.
I'm looking at it the casual viewer as well, because that's why I think people are going to really remember it from.
I mean, he's lost 3 fights. He's lost 2 of his last 3. He did beat Travis Brown in his last fight, but his last fight was 3 years ago. So, like,
it has been an incredibly long time.
Yeah,
he really didn't need to have this fight, did he?
No, he wanted to come back, but yeah, most of his fights end in the first round. I mean, most of them end pretty quickly. His wins,
maybe because their fist can break metal.
Heavyweights.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing with these heavyweight fights. They hardly ever last more than a round or two. Like. Because one hit. I mean, yes, that can happen in any fight, but when guys are 250 pounds and they hit you one time, like with all of their might, like that will knock you out. So it's harder for the smaller guys to do all that. But yeah, I mean, this guy's a dude that's 6'1", 6'2", 250. I mean, that's like
that is an impressive feat.
I don't know if he's done. I mean, if he's done, he might be done on his own right, but he still has a place in the UFC because he's a name. And if he wants to continue fighting, I'm sure he'll get the chance to. You know, he hasn't fought in a couple of years, but even with that still, he's only lost 2 fights of his last, 6 professional fights, and he was undefeated for quite some time. He was 9-0 and he beat Brock Lesnar in 2010, and that was a long time ago. He lost against Dos Santos, but he ended up beating Dos Santos. So he is a guy with a history that, he's 13-3 or 14-3. So maybe he'll be back. But for Ngannou, man, he could be the next guy to fight Cormier. I don't know. Heavyweight division is kind of up in the air right now. But, man, Ngannou is – I don't know. If you haven't seen him fight, he is impressive. The guy has legitimate – there's no scarier fighter, in my opinion, that has that much power.
Yeah. Like you said, power.
I feel like he's the kind of guy that would make Brock Lesnar be like, no, I'm not fighting that guy.
I think it just power in general is just what's going to get you over in the heavyweight division for sure. So if you're one of the top, if you're the most powerful guy in the heavyweight division, it's only a matter of time before you're becoming a world champion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Also, do you see JB Holmes won the Genesis Open this weekend? Over Justin Thomas.
That's a cool name, Genesis Open, by the way.
You know what sucks, man? These golfers, they've been on the West Coast. They start the season off on the West Coast because it's really crappy weather everywhere else. There's been really crappy weather on the West Coast. Yesterday in Los Angeles was 25, 30 mile an hour wind. These guys are freezing out there as they're trying to play golf. They're like, oh, I'm going to go to LA for a couple of days. This is going to be great. And they end up getting weather.
You can see the look on their face what the hell is happening?
Last week they played at Pebble Beach in Monterey, California, usually one of the most beautiful places to be in this time of year. And
it's almost like that's
there was
where
a hailstorm that broke out mid-tournament. That's why it pushed Mickelson's win to another day because they ran out of light because of the hailstorm that happened during one of his rounds. So yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of funny. It's what a letdown. You go to the West Coast, I'm going to get a tan. It's going to be nice weather, probably 80 degrees, 70 degrees.
Yeah.
You see Denny Hamlin won the Daytona 500 yesterday over
Kyle
Busch.
the big one, right? It's the big one.
Mm-hmm. They had that big crash. You see the big Daytona crash?
There's always one. So yes, I did see it, and it was all over the. It was basically all over the news and all that good stuff because it was pretty.
I feel like it
pretty
can't
bad
be a Daytona
crash.
500 unless there's like a 15-car pileup. You know.
That's why people watch NASCAR. I hate to say it, but I don't think people will just watch it just to see people turning left. I could be wrong.
It looks like nobody was seriously hurt, so that's always the best.
Yeah, and of course that's like gross crashes, but everyone's fine is the best.
Mm-hmm.
That is what the people want.
And this is the kind of an unfortunate segue, but this is the 18th anniversary of Dale Earnhardt Sr. passing away.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Very bad times. Probably one of the most infamous moments in sports history.
Joe Gibbs Racing, they got all three on the podium. You know that?
All three, really?
Yeah, first time it's happened in like 20 years.
That's actually pretty
Hamlin,
impressive.
Busch, and Jones are all three Joe Gibbs Racing.
Wow, good for them.
Pretty cool. So, anyways, Mike Moustakas.
Staying with the
You were wanting really badly for an all-star third baseman to sign a free agent contract. Well, you got your wish.
Not the one I was thinking of.
What do you mean, man? You said I really want a all-star third baseman to sign a free agent contract.
That was a little more specific than that.
Moustakas returning to the Brewers.
Yes. I believe it's a 1-year deal, if I'm not
We've
mistaken.
heard rumors that Bryce Harper is signing with the Phillies, though, for $300 million.
If that's the favorite, that's the main thing so far. It's not official yet because it will never be official because we don't deserve nice things.
Well, maybe we'll find out tomorrow. So you should join us tomorrow as we look back on Monday in sports that may or may not have a potential $300 million baseball free agency signing.
Just please. I don't care. You could sign to a Japan team. Just do something.
Yeah, sign to the team that Daisuke's on because they need somebody to replace him for a while.
Anyways, as always, I'm Jeff Malinoff. That's Mark Souza. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.